little bit of Christmas fun. I have these little rounds. I think I'm gonna paint on these little round pieces of wood and make it into like a trivet, you know? Okay, so I'm gonna start with the white at the bottom. So about 1/3 from the bottom. Just gonna do a nice little bit of a snowbank. This is great because I wanted to do a teacher gift. So I'm hitting 2 birds with 1 stone today. I think I've said wipe, rinse, wipe about 500 times this month because I've taught so many classes and I'm like, everybody remember to clean your brushes, wipe, rinse, wipe. I think I've said wipe, rinse, wipe so many times. It's my new catchphrase. As well as there's no mistakes, only happy accidents. Did I tell you I was quoted by the chief of police on Twitter with no mistakes, only happy accidents? Did I tell you about my event on Tuesday?
I hope you didn't say I confess.
No. No, oh yeah, that's so funny. No, I was asked to do a paint night for cops and kids. It's an outreach program.
Okay.
For teens in the community, doing activities with police, and it was so fun. And they're all teens who, you know, the cops are working with, and there was a social worker in the room. And the thing that I've never been asked before is how do you tie an apron around a gun? Never been asked that before.
What brush did you use for the moon?
Oh, I used a filbert, but I'm actually
Filbert?
I'm not going to leave the moon like that. I was just taking a pause. And so what I'm going to do is expand the moon out. I'm going to put the moon back later. I'm going to expand the moon out. Eventually it's going to be dark around the edges, so a black and blue around the edges. But I'm going to expand it out. So I'm going to use a little bit of gray and turquoise to expand out. So I might start with a little bit of turquoise. On. So, okay, so let's get red. You'll just need red, white, and black. That's it. Unless you want a different color barn. So alizarin or like a rich red. You could use cadmium. I'm gonna use Nathol Crimson, which is basically alizarin, I think that Liquidex names things slightly differently. It was one that was just in a set. It's like a Santa red. We are gonna start by painting a square. Just with pure red, a square. So it can be a little tiny barn or it can be a really big barn. So I'm gonna let you decide how big your barn's gonna be. But we're gonna start by painting a square. So pure red, straight out the tube. A big sigh.
I don't like my red. It's too dark.
Well, you can always paint over it.
I am.
Or just put a little bit of yellow into it, to yellow and white to warm it up. If you do pure white, it'll go pink, but if you put a bit of yellow in, it'll lighten it.
Okay. Here's my yellow.
I have a leaning barn.
That's okay.
The leaning barn of Brilton.
Falling apart.
It's on a circle, just rotate the circle.
I know, yeah. But my horizon line is, you know what I mean?
It's a curve though.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. It's just the perfectionist in me is like, it's not right. Right, so we're just doing a little red square. After the square, we're gonna do a line through to the top of our square. And the line is about a third of the height of the square. Looks like a little Christmas present. So if it appears dark, it's because it's on a dark background, so you might need 2 layers.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm using a really thick paint. So just to recap, square, line about a third of the height of the square to the top. Then we're going to make that into a little arrow. But don't take the arrow further than, leave a little space either side for the other part of the barn. So we're turning it into a little arrow. And then once you've done the arrow, you can put another line up to the arrow. But the idea is that didn't quite work out. I want to do that a little bit steeper. You want to get that barn shape. So while we wait for the barn to dry, let's do the little trees. So I'm gonna make quite a bright green, because I can put the shadows in later, because we're against a dark background, you want to make them light, and we will put snow on them too, because snow fixes everything.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna mix some of my blue sky with some yellow. Gonna use the corner of my brush to do a few little dots. And then I'm gonna dab side to side to get my tree shape.
What color is that again you're using?
So I used the blue from my sky and put a bit of yellow with it.
Okay.
So to start with, I'm just gonna dab side to side, almost like a zigzag.
It looks like you've done that before.
I think I have. So just dabbing side to side. Because you build this up in layers, changing the color each time, but you don't want to kind of mush it all together. So it's best to do it and then let it dry before you add the next layer.
What brush are you using?
I'm using a flat as kind of
Flat.
a number 2 flat, yeah. So I think I'm going to do 2 trees because 3 trees, sorry, because I don't like even numbers. I'm going to put one here. Don't worry if they merge together because we can put in the detail later. And I'm just going to put my heater on so I can dry that. Just holding my painting up against the fire for a second to dry. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is the door and window. So the red that you've been using, just mix it with a little tiny bit of black or green. You can darken red with green as well. So black or green. So you just want dark red. Okay. So I'm going to start by doing a little window across the top. So it's just dark red. And then I'm going to fill in my barn door. So another little square inside, but obviously smaller. And then while that's drying, I'm going to go over my trees with a slightly lighter green now.
Do we keep going from darkest to lightest, or do you mix it up in your layers of green?
I'm going to go slightly lighter, but the final layer is the snow, and that's when I'm only going to go in kind of like the top area.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go lighter green. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to kind of go in between where I went before. I'm just dabbing, dab, dab, dab. Still got the leaning barn of Pisa going on here. It's hard drawing on a circle painting on a circle because it's kind of puts the angles off a little bit.
You almost need to tape it onto a square.
Yes,
That's a good idea.
it's throwing me off. Every time I move it, it's like, oh, which way is up again?
Where did December go?
Oh, I don't know. Okay. Next part is pure white, but we're gonna put it on while the undercoat's still wet. So we'll get lots of color variations here if we use pure white on wet paint. So I'm using a very small amount of white on the tip of my brush. And I'm going to walk this around the whole of the exterior of my barn. So I'm just walking it. And I'm walking it so it looks kind of a little bit lumpy, like snow. And so because this is still a little bit wet, should give us some nice blends. I'm going to divide my barn doors in half. With two horizontal lines and then one vertical line. And I'm going to put little X's inside all of those doors, the little portions of the doors. How are we doing?
Concentrating.
Concentrating.
Ugh. Oh, Jane.
Okay, let's put some snow on those trees. So the snow is going to be just where the moonlight would be catching it. And I'm going to put it on quite thickly. It'd just be on the tops of the branches, but don't forget the branches are 360 degrees around the tree. So just following those angles, I've put a little ruler where my moon is. And I'm going to put it on the edge of my barn here. And I'm going to put a little bit of a light shadow. I'm just very slightly graying down my snow.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to do this little wreath. I use a very small brush. And I'm just going to dot a little circle of red. Not red, green. Oh, a bit wet.
Did you say that's the structure on your property, Julie?
This? No. No, the other painting I did have the chicken coop on the original, but no. No, this is my fantasy barn that I would have if I had a farm, proper farm. This would be my art studio barn.